Welcome, our favorite people. It must be a Monday because it's Bears of a Certain Age with your hosts, Scott and Jonny, right here for you. And this is a show we kind of teased a couple shows ago. Everybody knows I just had a big birthday. It's not the big birthday that's coming, but I'm older. And so a lot of times you'll look in the mirror and you'll be like, huh. Well, I have a friend. So when I look in the mirror and go, huh, I call her and I say, I need help. I need advice. And this is the woman to turn to. So without further ado, we want to welcome esthetician, educator, and owner of the beautiful Vanity Skincare and Makeup.
Vanity
Here in
makeup and
Spokane,
skin.
Washington. What,
Yes.
say that again?
Vanity makeup and skin.
There, it's the other way around.
Yes.
Vanity, makeup, and skin. But what's more important is even though she is in my town, which is great for me, she can answer you questions. If you
Yeah.
wanted to email her, she can send you products
Yes.
because I use her moisturizer like there's no tomorrow. I
Yes.
have done that. Talk to her. Are you in the spa? It's
Yep.
Saturday. I'm going to drive by. Um, but so this, you're someone I trust. I think that's very important for the person who takes care of the way we look. And so we thought we're going to bring on Miss Leigh Wick and we're going to talk about what it's like to be grown men who have passed a certain level, beyond 40 and skin changes. And what are some things we can do all the way from most cost effective? I just went to, Walgreens to what are some things I can look at?
Bears got the best of me. I said, bears on my fantasy. I said, bears ain't what I like. We do it all night, all right. Bears that don't discriminate. I take a cover chop to circumnavigate. Steal my heart and let it percolate. All night, all right. Bears got the best of me. I said, bears on my fantasy. I said, bears ain't what I like. We do it all night, all right. Bears.
And Scott, you and I talk about getting older all the time. Do these things ever cross your mind?
I am learning more that I should have moisturized earlier. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that. But yeah, no, it's very important. I mean, I've always tried to look as good as I can, but I've never been into the potions and lotions because honestly, I didn't have anyone to go to. I was just didn't have the right person to do it. I didn't have the person in my life, a partner that was kind of into it that would help coax me along. So I think you really need to have someone like Leigh that you can count on and talk to that will let you not be afraid to ask the dumb questions. I always felt I have the dumb questions, right? So that's why I'm
Yes.
See,
loving the
never a
show.
dumb question.
No, there's
So,
never.
Leigh,
Yes.
Leigh, do you find that your business, what's the percentage of men and women that go and care about their skin? You know what I mean? That want to do something.
So I want to start by thanking you guys for having me because first of all, Jonathan and I absolutely met and clicked like instantaneously. So he asked me about, I don't even remember what you asked me about, but it was something so simple. And I like nailed him down with like 45 science facts. It was kind of a hostage
Yeah.
situation. And he literally was like, I'm intrigued. And so he came in and so I knew we had a really great electronic rapport. And then when he came in, it was just instant friendship. So I'm super honored to be here. And I can't wait to help all of your listeners with whatever. So I can talk about skincare. It's my passion. And so you just hit me with questions and I'll just go for it. So I am going to be 54. And
Nice.
I feel like anytime from the 70s to 80s, we were really at a disadvantage with these youngsters now that really understand skincare and preservation. They are already, you've got 13-year-olds that are already doing skincare routines, and that can go a little bit wonky the other way, but I won't talk about that. I'll just talk about our age demographic, right? So we laid out in the sun. We used Sea Breeze toner. We stripped it down. It had to feel like tight, if it wasn't tight, it wasn't clean.
Yeah.
I mean, we did baby oil and used Stridex pads and Noxzema, and we hit the day. And in 2020 and 2021 really became known as the year for men's skincare. So you see this huge kind of shift in the industry where it's much more. It started with the term metrosexual. Remember
Yep.
that term in like the early 2000s, mid 2000s, where metrosexual became, it was sort of like a toe in the water for, wait, men have skin. Shocker. Like
Right?
they need to care for it. So, and men, just like women, there are women that will only do 2 steps. There are men that will do 20. So I really think that gender has no role or business in the marketing or commercialization of skincare, because everybody has different preferences with regard to lifestyle, what they'll do. And in 2020 and 2021, it really started to become something that our industry talked about. And we really started kind of learning the differences between preferences versus, you know, it doesn't, your gender doesn't really matter. It matters what your preference is, how many steps you're willing to do. And I mean, obviously men have different pore structure than women. There are a lot of different hormone things that go on when you're talking about skin. So from a science standpoint, when the professional is, you know, kind of investigating if there's a corrective skin issue, we want to know those things. But from a mass marketing commercialized standpoint, it really, men's skincare kind of exploded in 2020. So I have, I've gender's never been on my menu at Vanity Makeup and Skin. It doesn't really matter to me. All skin is skin. And so I really love what I'm the most passionate about is learning about the individualized person that I'm working with. What are their skin goals? What's their skin history? Do you want to use 9 products? Do you want to use 2? If your skin
Right.
needs 9 and you'll only use 2, then it's my job to find one product that will do like 5 things and one product that will do 4 things. And so I think that finding a professional that you really connect with that understands individualized concerns is actually more important than gender. And that is just something that philosophically I totally believe in. But I love talking about men's skincare because the more you guys talk about it, the more it's going to be okay for, you know, and men wear makeup now. I mean, it's
Yep.
just so much cooler than it was when I started as a makeup artist at MAC Cosmetics, and I
Oh,
worked there
nice.
for years and years and years. And so I've always, you know, there's always been a huge male population that's loved makeup. It just hasn't been so widely acceptable, and it hasn't been so widely discussed, and it hasn't just been so widely embraced like it is now. So I really am honored to be here and talk about that.
Well, that's been one of my questions that I had was because makeup is becoming more prevalent in men and everything they're doing. That does a whole different thing to your skin that we never learned about, but as
Yeah,
far as the care before and after. So you really have to, there's a lot of extra steps that kind of go into that you need to, not maybe extra steps, but things you need to learn to do before and after, right?
correct. Yes, education is a huge part of my relationship with a client. And I have clients, like I said, that are like Jonathan said, that are in my town. I've got clients that travel to see me because I do have a specialty with regard to non-invasive anti-aging. So my people are kind of the outsiders that don't really want to subscribe to the overly filled Botox and fillers, and they just want to learn about, okay, what do they like, what does their skin respond to, how, you know, it just is a huge educational component. And I feel like that's really where my focus with men specifically who maybe haven't tried to even make their skin look good and they are wearing makeup, but really let me dial back your makeup and improve your skin, and you don't need as much
Yeah.
cosmetics. So if you, my biggest thing as a makeup artist, my biggest compliment is when somebody says to me, because I love makeup, don't get me wrong, I love makeup, but when somebody says I don't need to wear as much makeup, and people are saying, and that's a huge compliment, because then I know that your skin is
Yeah.
actually doing what it's supposed to do, and it's kind of my business card that you're wearing. So
I love that. You know, a lot of times, especially as we are bears of a certain age, it means the generation we saw of men, like my grandfather or
oh
my
yeah.
dad. they did not do that. And you spend a lot of time in the sun and you have fun and you're out there. And that's why I had reached out to you, because I notice as we get older, all of that we've done to our skin, youth is nice, but you don't understand some of the price you pay later. So
Yes.
it's on layaway. And so you'll notice the sun damage starts to come to the surface.
Yes.
And I was looking in the mirror going, and let's be honest, I've been on stage since I was 17, and I've done a lot of outdoor stages, never thinking about my face,
Yeah.
and burning for years.
Yeah.
And then again, I was on the main stage of Pride, and I forgot my sunscreen because it's not. So burn the skin. And then I start seeing it coming out. So do you find that men, that's a lot? I mean, we've been in the sun. We didn't think anything of it. We've burned our faces and our bodies. What has that done to our skin?
So I am fascinated by the not a trend, but that is from a marketing standpoint, what I'll say is trend in men's skincare. Because if you look at the way skincare, or even the way men were marketed when we grew up in the 70s or 80s, like the epitome of a man was the Marlboro Man, which we all know, he's on a horse, he is leathered like a saddle.
Yes.
He is slapping on, he's chain smoking, first of all, and he is slapping on aftershave, barely washing, and he's hitting a dusty trail for the day.
Yep.
That, number one, free radicals and smoking, that's way bad for you, for your skin. So that didn't even get me started on that.
Right.
I feel like it is just a matter of what you can do as a man. And if you've never had your skin discussed before professionally, or if your parents never taught you, if you didn't have a role model that taught you that you actually need to use a cleanser, and even soap and water, and especially SPF. And again, we grew up, we didn't have, nobody worried about SPF. It was, we put baby oil and drank our California coolers and to party. It was like not a thing. And so as we, especially our demographic with our age, 45 to 60, that, just like you said, it is on loan. It is on layaway. It will start to come out. It's just a matter of time. I have several services that can kind of help me predict what you need to do as far as treatments for removing that sun damage, or helping it kind of become minimized before it comes out. And those are called IPL photofacials. And photofacials is something that is, yes, I'm going to start those on Jonathan. They work really well for sensitive skin, for like somebody who gets really pink in the sun, or even if it's not hyperpigmentation with regard to age spots or brown spots, or it's just really helpful to remove that sun damage, because sun damage will come out in a lot of different ways for people. If you don't get discoloration, you get thickening of the skin, you get larger pores, you get big blackheads underneath your eyes that are called solar comedones. I mean, there's just a lot of damage that can occur just from the sun, that wearing sunscreen for the younger generations, they're already at a huge advantage than when we were growing up. So I get really, really excited when I see new clients that maybe they're just starting their skincare journey and they're 45 or older. It's like, we are going to have so much fun, because it's not scary. It's not overwhelming. It's not super expensive, and you're going to see results very quickly. So
Nice.
Scott, fly in. Fly
there
on
you
over.
go.
I would love that.
I don't know about this laser thing. You're going to have to convince me
you're
a
going to be
little bit
fine.
more. Just a little bit more.
We'll FaceTime you when Jonathan gets his done.
Yes, we will.
I like that. I'll do that. I'll watch that. Leigh, give me an advice. Guys of our age are used to shaving, so we've either done straight edge, or we've done the razors and everything, or the little chic things with the 3 little balls there. What's a good gateway drug, so to speak, for that? What's a good moisturizer to start with after you've shaved, and what can you maybe be the next step to work your way up to getting your face worked on and kind of keep it moist and keep it softer?
So I love that you brought up shaving, which makes sense with this being a program about men's skincare. But men always have men who shave have an amazing exfoliation just built into their routine. There is a lot of new skin underneath the beard. That's why it's like some people say, oh, he looks like such a baby face when they take the beard off, because that skin is brand new. It's really been protected by that hair. With beards, sometimes you get some folliculitis with the shaving, and folliculitis is just a little bit of bacteria that gets caught in the top of the hair follicle. So we have products that can take care of that if you are keeping yourself shaped really well. But, you know, say some people have to shave way up here, but because they want it, like you guys both have nicely shaped beards. Starting with a really, really good follicle clearing product to make sure that you don't break out after you shave is really great. The whole aftershave thing, the reason why that burns is because it is an alcohol that sterilizes your hair follicle, so it kills that bacteria. There are a lot of other non-fragrance products that act as aftershave, but are actually considered skincare products as well. I am a product developer, and I introduced my own skincare line in March of 2023 called Matusa. And it is something that I had planned for years. It was going to be the chef's kiss of my career. I always kind of suffer from a little bit of imposter syndrome. It's something I've really had to work on. And when we got shut down during COVID as non-essential, I realized if I'm going to do it, I have time to do it right now. And I'm just going to go for it. So it took me about a year to get my first few products on the market. And I created a lot of it because I have a lot of sensitive clients. I have a lot of male clients. I have a lot of female clients. I have a lot of, like I said, gender doesn't really matter. I just look at who do I serve currently and what's a product that needs to be created. And a follicle clearing one was a really big thing that didn't have perfume. So I created a product called 11, which is a champagne antioxidant mist. And brut champagne contains tartaric acid, which helps as a follicle, kills the bacteria in your follicle. And that just sprays on. So that one is a huge one for people when they get waxed. We do full body waxing. We do IPL hair reduction, and we sell that one. And from a skin care standpoint, it really adds an additional layer of moisture. It really helps to keep your pores not congested, which make them look tighter. And then I've got a moisturizer, which is Jonathan's favorite, which is called Temple. And it is a turmeric-based organic moisturizer that is really, really great for wound healing. It's really great for collagen reproduction. So that one is a top seller for all clients based on just the overall nourishment of the skin with the turmeric.
I have to say, so my skin gets red. That's where everything's just red. But the turmeric in that, because I use that every day, calms.
Yes,
The red
yes.
calms
Yep.
because of that inside that, which is why I will call Leigh. Like I just got back from Palm Springs.
Yep.
Or no, I was just leaving for Palm Springs, dropped my dog off 3 hours at my mom's house, and then got back into town and met Leigh at the office.
Yes.
Because it is, and it's also very cooling.
It is.
So my brother is like he's a manly man. And I love him to death. And so I got him into skincare but he had a hard time because, well, manly men don't do this.
The
Now he's
Marlboro
learned
man.
20
It's the
years.
Marlboro man.
Yes, 20 years later, he does it. So let's say you have a guy, and he's like, and for my brother, the gateway was his eyes.
Yeah.
In the Shuffield family, it's under the eyes. And so you have a guy, and maybe he has an area he's noticed. But what would you say the top 3 things to address in a man over the age of 45 tends to be?
Are you talking from a product standpoint or a treatment standpoint, or both?
Yeah, for what? Well, what would you say that is you see in skin that tend to be the areas that men develop more after the age of 45? And then we can talk about, well, what's a product way to address it? What's a treatment way to address it?
So skin normally shows its age in the areas that are constantly moving, which are normally our eyes and our mouth, right? We're always talking, we're always squinting, our eyes are always blinking. So movement lines really are the first to start. So you'll see a lot of people, men specifically, if they don't wear sunscreen or whatnot, they'll get a lot of thick lines underneath their eyes that are called crow's feet, and then just an additional sort of wrinkling that happens under the eye. A lot of time as we age, our skin loses elasticity. We don't produce elastin, as our bodies are made up of 70% of collagen and elastin, and that collagen can be everything from your, connective tissues to your skin, and so it has to go somewhere as it slows down. So there are things that lacks at that time. And so when you've done a lot of damage to it by not doing products or not taking care of your skin, that's when you see the big age. Stress is a really huge indicator of on the face. I can tell when somebody is really stressed. Diet is a really huge indicator. So I would say that the lip lines around, if somebody smokes or if they use a straw constantly, you can see those little lines. And the 11, men will often get the 11 right there because they're squinting with, and doing and that. So those are the top areas where I can look at somebody instantly and say, here's where I can take 10 years off. Here's how much it's going to cost. If you just want to come in one time, it's going to cost you this amount of money. If you want to give me if you're in it to really kind of learn and educate, if you want to do a slow, conservative dialing of the clock back, I just tell people, give me 6 to 12 treatments and you're going to see a huge, huge improvement. And because it's just amazing what lifting those things with a massage, with a facial massage, using the right products. Men will get solar comedones, which are big blackheads underneath the eyes. Not just men, women will get those too, but it tends to be something that men get more from. And those are really difficult. And that's from not wearing sunscreen and just that constant sun damage hitting right above and not wearing sunglasses. So, yes.
Nice.
Yes, very much.
And a lot of men in the LGBTQ community, especially up through older age, are very body conscious, do a lot of working out and everything. So we either sweat a lot after the gym or we'll go in the steam room after the gym. Is that good for your skin, or is there something you should be doing when you finish working out or finish getting in that steam room? Is there best practices for that?
So sweat is good. It's a way for our body to remove toxins, obviously. But from a skin standpoint, you don't want that sweat to sit on your skin. So showering afterwards is really, really important. A sauna, a traditional sauna will, with using moisture, will cause our epidermis to heat up and then cause the sweat response. So that's why you stink, because the sauna, that moisture has to go through that bacteria, right? So there are other saunas that are a little bit more popular now, but a lot of gyms don't carry them yet, but they're infrared saunas. They are just kind of like little Hot Works has them in Spokane. We have one at Vanity, and they use far infrared light, it does heat up to 144 degrees. So some people really do sweat, but it's a circulatory increase in temperature first. It doesn't have to go through your epidermis in order to create the sweat response. So just however you sweat is fine. Just wash that off of you, especially the more body hair you have, getting that sweat off of where the hair meets the skin, because that's where you can get the bacteria that will settle. So exfoliation is really important. Lots of things to just kind of remove that stuff that's going to sit there and cause a problem.
And that infrared is also good for things like psoriasis.
Yes.
Things like some skin blemishes like that. It's really good for that as well.
It is, and it increases your collagen production.
I'm there.
Yes, it increases your collagen production. It helps with body acne. It is really, really, really a good one. And it's really popular. We give 10 or 15 minutes for free with every full price skincare service at Vanity. And it's a really popular one. And you can lose a lot of water weight. Like a lot of my brides will come in and sweat box themselves out to fit into that dress.
Right.
Or it's red carpet weight essentially, but it's going to come back after a couple days. So.
And I think there's a lot of stigma, obviously, for men who care about themselves. I mean, God forbid. And so what's fascinating is I was talking to a very dear friend of mine who was in town from New York, and we were talking because that man is 53. For his birthday every year, he posts a naked picture because he looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I love that he celebrates. But I told him, well, I decided I want to go get this photo facial. For me, it makes me feel like I'm doing more than, because I already have do
Yeah.
the stuff. And he questioned me for a bit, and then he finally said, listen, if it makes you happy, then that's what matters. But so I want to talk a little bit about procedures. So I don't have want to go under the knife.
Hmm.
I have a friend who's in media named Ian, and he wants to go under the knife tomorrow. So a lot of times people don't understand it's not just product or full on plastic surgery.
No.
There are all these pieces, and honestly, I like the idea of product in conjunction with
Hmm.
to help. And so there are things we talked about the IPL photo facial, which is what I plan to get done. But there are like going to if you're not in Spokane and you're not going to fly in, going to a knowledgeable esthetician, they can help you
Hmm.
show you different ways, whether it's just product, whether it's these options that are all before you go have someone take a scalpel on you, right?
Correct. And you
Yeah.
have to take a look at, I always tell people, what's the name of the place where you're going or where you're going to book the service? Because there are different tiers, right? When you're going to
Oh
go
yeah.
to a dermatologist's office, dermatologists usually will have a med spa component, but
Yeah.
dermatologists are there to treat skin disorders.
Yeah.
Estheticians work on the beautification of the skin. We work on the
Yeah.
cosmetic beautification of the skin. So we don't do anything in Washington State. Estheticians can not inject. We have a tier in Washington. We're one of only 4 states that has a master esthetician license. So we can do lasers with the master esthetician license. The only thing that we need medical supervision for in Washington State is a prescriptive device that is something that I can't buy with my license, an FDA class 2 prescription device. So
Yeah.
you'll see a med spa with a doctor that they'll have the big
Right.
BMW costing
Gotcha.
lasers.
Right. Yes.
And
Yes.
then I have at my disposal, because I am the owner and the CEO, and I don't want to have, I tend to have a little bit more of a conservative approach. I don't want to look overly filled. I don't get Botox. I've never had anything done. I don't mind doing a 97-step routine daily. I'm just kidding. But like, I don't mind. I would just rather do it naturally and consistently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you really have to find out what kind of place you're going to. If you're just wanting to meet with an esthetician, find out if they're a master esthetician or a regular esthetician. Regular estheticians can do amazing things too, but somebody who's a master esthetician that's who doctors hire to do the things in their clinics, are master estheticians. So at Vanity, I do FDA class 1 and 2 non-prescriptive devices, which gives me a lot of toys to play with to do whatever non-invasive things that the client wants with regard to the beautification of the skin. There's, like I said, so many things that you can do lifting and just by massage techniques that you have somebody who, even if there's a thing called high touch facial and a high touch, and I tend to specialize in, have been known, and they call me sometimes the skin dominatrix, because if and I'm there for it. That's fine. Like, that is fine. But it's like, if you haven't been to me unless I've hurt you a little, because that's what you're paying me for. Like,
Exactly. Yes.
So, but
Beauty hurts, damn it. Beauty's
exactly.
pain.
Do you want a result, or do you want, what do you want? So
Right.
there are just a lot of different ways, and clients can get, especially men, I think, who haven't talked about it with anybody, or who are just realizing, because in our industry, it's not a trend. It's truly, like we've been saying for years. I mean, men, we need to figure out, get more men in here.
Yeah.
And so now you guys are really going to see newer or younger generations already having a lot of this stuff at their disposal because it's so much more commercialized and actually talked about and accepted.
Yeah,
Nice.
exactly. Now, as we wind down, Scott, what final questions, thoughts do you have?
My final question is, how do we reach out to someone like you? Because as a gay man, I love a strong woman. And
Yeah.
so my girl from Grey's Anatomy and Jane Seymour is making me get crepe erase now. I want that.
Oh,
And then the
yeah,
guy
you're mine
has the
now,
thing that's
baby.
going to make my eyes get really tight with a cute girl. How do I know if those products are good for me or bad for me?
So you're asking really amazing questions, Scott, I will say, because I could go on for like hours. So, you don't know if they're good for you or bad for you. The FDA prior to 2024 did not regulate the skincare industry. So anybody could create a product and go on out and sell it at a craft fair or open a spa and sell it. Now in 2024, by December of 2024, estheticians, spa, private labels, anybody who creates their own products is required to connect with the FDA. And there's a thing called MOCRA guidelines that protect consumers from purchasing things that are going to damage them. So make sure when you're buying a new product that if you're buying it like somewhere where you don't know someone for sure and you don't have a personalized referral, really take a look at if they have before and afters, if they have client testimonials. I have a ton of virtual clients. So if you want to be my virtual client, you can completely do that. I do FaceTime, I do Zoom, I do telephone, and I never ignore clients. As a small business owner, I work 24 hours a day. I try to be more disciplined, but I can't sleep thinking that I might have missed somebody, and I'm very responsive. So if you were my client, I would schedule you for a product consultation, and we would do that by phone, and I would ask you a lot of questions about your lifestyle. How many products? What do you do right now in the morning? What do you do at night? Do you have any allergies? Do you have any concerns with your skin? Do you have do you take any medications? Do you have any sensitivities? There's a lot of different consultation questions that really help a professional investigate, and then we can hand pick products for you. So I love doing that kind of stuff and kind of developing a personalized routine. So
I love that. That's
yeah.
fantastic.
It's amazing, and I will tell everybody till the dawn of time that Matusa is a really good. My skin is very sensitive and will react to someone breathed on me while they were walking down the sidewalk. Matusa is so good. I also have the champagne spritz.
Yes.
It makes me so fancy, and we do a lot of stage work. And Scott, I think I showed it to you. I brought it down when we were in Palm Springs. So I am biased, but I think these are the questions men want to ask that they don't ask. So Leigh, tell our listeners where can they look for information on you and the spa? Where can they ask questions if they have them? Where do you want to send them?
So I can be reached at I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat at Vanity Makeup and Skin. My email is vanitybyleigh, Leigh, at vanitybyleigh@yahoo.com. I have a website, www.vanitymakeupandskin.com. I'm super responsive on all of those platforms. And then I can be reached by telephone the old school way. You can text me 509-366-0488. And then the spa number directly is 509-598-8695. And that is the best way. I don't have a receptionist. I tend to have a little bit of a snobby attitude. I don't mean to be, but I'm by appointment only. I don't want to deal with a bunch of people coming in and wanting to know what's on sale, what can they get for free. I offer budget friendly things, of course, but I'm a little bit coveted and hard to find. And I like that because 80 to 90% of my business is by referral. And I know if you've been referred by somebody, then it's a legit, you're interested. I do market on Google. I do get out there and network, but like things like this, I'm really passionate about because it's a big educational component. And I really want your skin for life. If I only see you twice a year, that's fine. I will see you twice a year. We'll do, huge things during that time. But I don't ever want somebody to feel like they have to say what I want to hear. A lot of times people feel pressured, especially men will feel pressured, and they feel like it's going to be a huge sales thing and they don't want to do it. And that's just so not part of my, I don't want, you can be direct. You can say, I'll tell you everything, and and it's all just money, time, consistency. And the more direct you can be with me, the easier it is for me to figure out how to serve you as a client.
I love, and as Scott said, we love as gay men like us, we love a strong woman. And I have to say, what sells me every time is, first of all, Leigh and I are quick and on the same page, but she's also sassy, and I love me a sassy woman.
Yes.
And so if you get to go into her spa physically, right away that this place is not like some cookie cutter spa on the strip. There's personality, and there's unafraidness to it. And so I would highly recommend you. But
Thank
of
you.
course, that's just me. So we'll get Scott to do a
There you
phone
go.
consult.
I'm going to have to do a little
I would love
teleconference.
that.
I'm liking this.
We have a
I feel like
seal.
I don't like that she's
What was
saying she
that?
wants my skin for life during spooky season. I'm a little scared.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's okay. Other than that, I'm good.
So it's perfect. Yes.
I feel like there will be a sequel in our future.
Yeah.
There's just so much
agree.
information and so many questions. And remember, we want to hear from all of you.
Yes.
So if you have questions, we will make sure that all the contact information for Leigh is put when we release this. We will also, if you want to email us, of course, podcastbears@gmail.com. Feel free to email us. We are happy to pass it along. But guys, we have a lot of fans in Palm Springs. The sun bakes you constantly.
Right.
But it doesn't matter where you are. If you have questions, I'm passionate about letting men know that there are things that are okay to do that are good for you. So we are here, remember, every Monday, but you can get on all of our socials. You can ask us anything you want. We are happy to do that. And hopefully some of you will join us on our live next week, and we'll talk to some of you about it. But this, Scott, see?
There you go. Check the show notes below. We're going to put all of Leigh's contact information in the show notes below. So look for that. And this was a great conversation. Thank you, Leigh. It's very good.
I love it. Thank you.
I
Nice
feel
to meet you.
10 minutes younger.
There you go.
Hey, that's the thing. And then I'll see you in October, and we're going to zap you.
I cannot wait to tell everybody about it and to show Scott that it's worth it. And I have a producer, Kurt, who I'm going to get to try some things. So this is good. So remember, everybody, until next time, we love you all, and we will see you then.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Bears got the best of me. Said bears on my fantasy. Said bears into what I like. We do it all night, all right. Bears that don't discriminate. I take a carbon chop to circumnavigate.